Hey guys, this is Connor at Conquest HP. It is late at night, just wrapping up some work on Conquest Fitness Studio for the day. If you haven't been following along on social media, we just moved into a new home, a large portion of that home and garage to be dedicated to training. So what we're doing is converting a garage into a gym space. Um, so that's where I am right now. I'm standing in a garage. But we've done a lot of work today. We started with a blank, plain concrete slab floor like you'd find in many garages. Now, the standard approach for a gym or for a box or CrossFit box or a garage gym would be to just throw down some rubber slab mats or horse stall mats is another way to phrase that. And that's what we did at actually our old location. But right on top of a concrete slab in Canada can be kind of rough. They don't insulate the feet very well. They're not very kind to concrete underneath, especially if you're lifting appreciable weights. So we decided to go a different direction. They're also really expensive for some reason. Horse stall mats to be used in a gym space, very expensive. So you haven't been able to see it from the angles yet. But what you can see down on the floor now is a mixture of the layers that we have. So what I'm standing on is 3/4 inch plywood. I think it would probably survive most nuclear blasts. It's pretty sturdy. In the heaviest lifting areas, we're going to do 2 layers of that. You're putting down deadlifts gently, of course, never dropping them. But in doing so, it's going to have to disperse that force across as much space as we can. So 2 3/4 inch layers of this stuff, you're going to be able to do pretty well whatever you want on it. And you're going to be able to do that because we have some framework beneath that too. So if I bring you over here, you see some purple, pinkish purple squares there, mixed in with a 2x4 framework. So what we have is this stuff is rigid foam board insulation. So it's 1.5 inches thick, gives us whatever our value, 7.5. It's going to keep your feet a lot warmer. It's going to keep it a lot warmer in here, a lot more comfortable. And mixed into this 2x4 framework. So the 2x4s are kind of laid on their side. There's about 8 billion concrete screws attaching them to the concrete slab. So what that's going to do is give us a really sturdy surface for this plywood to sit on. It's going to help to disperse that force a little bit more. And it's going to allow for some really heavy lifting and also some jumping and agility games and all kinds of fun stuff. That's just a little bit nicer to do on a slightly forgiving but sturdy surface like this plywood rather than directly on concrete. So that's a big part of the rationale behind what we're doing right now. It's definitely a lot more labor than just laying down rubber slab mats, but you're going to feel that under your feet when you're in here. It's going to feel a lot nicer for you. It's going to protect the concrete a lot better. It's going to be a lot warmer in the winter, probably a little cooler in the summer. And yeah, a little bit more forgiving, just in case you need that. So what we're going to do is finish out the 3/4 inch ply that I haven't quite finished over there yet, the tricky part by the stairs. After I've done that, we're going to put in a little walkway coming in from the door. I'm going to put another layer of the 3/4 ply in the really heavy lifting areas. Let's call them the deadlift areas. And then on top of all that, I'm going to use carpet terminology, low pile, tight pile. It's going to be like a commercial grade low carpet. that will be able to also withstand some impact, very similar to the carpet that's on the platform for IPF, OPA, powerlifting contests. I was lucky enough to compete in one of those last week. I think it was only a week ago now. But that was by far the most accommodating lifting surface I've ever been on. And a good thing about it is that it doesn't get slippery when there's chalk or powder or whatever else may accumulate on a floor. I know that you've probably been into a commercial gym where the floor gets a little bit dirty, dusty, chalky, whatever. And when it does, it's just, you might as well be on a skating rink. And you don't want that when you're deadlifting. So I was really happy to lift on the carpet before we moved here. I got a great idea of what I might want for our own gym space. So that's what's going down in here. So it's going to provide a good amount of grip, also a little bit more forgiving, also a little bit warmer, all pluses. And another reason we're doing it is because we like to use chalk, because if you're deadlifting and you want to lift appreciable weight, and I love deadlifting and lifting appreciable weight, you're eventually going to need some chalk. You can use wrist straps, but they're painful and they're not great, and most people won't like to use them. Or you can rely on your own grip, but eventually that day is going to come when the bar is slipping, just because there's not enough friction between your hand and the bar. And at that point, it's going to be really frustrating for you if you can't load up any more weight. So we like to use chalk. Just maximize the amount of weight you can use and the load you can place on your glutes and on your hamstrings and your legs, instead of being limited by your hands. And that's another thing that you won't be allowed to use on a lot of rubberized floors, because gym owners, commercial gym owners, whatever, are afraid of cleaning that kind of stuff up, the mess it makes. But again, with carpet, makes it easy. We encourage it. We encourage you to get stronger. And that's where we're at right now. So it's still looking pretty rough, but that's the update. So stay tuned, hit like, hit subscribe, and look for the next installment of Conquest Fitness Studio Development. I don't have a good name for this.